they call me a bunny rabbit.
Look at this young man. Do you feel like you have buck teeth? Time for some PFOing so you know where you're going. Some of you out there, growing up, you may know exactly what this feels like, what this looks like, and it can be an unfortunate situation, especially because people can be very mean, especially kids. Not just kids, sometimes adults, all right? We're not perfect, but buck teeth can cause serious social issue for people, and it's just sad. So today I found a YouTube video I'm gonna react to. We're gonna talk a little bit about buck teeth.
For the last 5 years, Evan Hill has made monthly visits to the orthodontist.
Monthly visits to the orthodontist. That may be necessary. Somewhere between like 4 and 8 usually, especially with braces. Depending on what you're going through, if you're talking about expanders, maybe you're doing more frequent visits at the beginning, or retainers, sometimes you maybe a little more regularly at the very beginning. But with braces, somewhere between like a month and 8 weeks is usually pretty normal. Or if you're doing Invisalign, some orthodontists are seeing their patients every 8 to 12 weeks, maybe even longer, just because the appliance works differently. If you don't go to the dentist or the orthodontist to get your braces tightened, they may not move as much versus the Invisalign. It's all built into the different plastic trays as you switch, right? So you can go longer without seeing the orthodontist sometimes. Kind of cool. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about buck teeth.
He appeared on Campbell Live.
They call me a bunny rabbit.
Look at this young man. First off, he said they call me a bunny rabbit. Well, what you can see here is that he's got his front central incisors, and they are just right there. I mean, wow. And people, kids, are calling him names, bunny rabbit. That is very unfortunate for this young man and for other people that have to go through this, okay? So a few things. When we're growing up, right, as a kid, everybody has baby teeth. The first teeth that usually come out, right, that are adult, or the first baby teeth that fall out are usually the bottom front teeth and then the top front teeth. When those teeth come in, those teeth are usually a lot bigger than the baby teeth. So now we've got a baby face that hasn't grown yet, and our lower jaw is usually set back because the lower jaw doesn't grow until later. And what that does is it gives the appearance of buck teeth. And it's a fortunate part of development, and some folks, some kids have to deal with it like this young man. And it can cause serious problems. Socially, it has been argued that having teeth that appear to be way out like that can also be more prone to trauma. It's not always the case, but it's been argued that way. Having teeth that are stuck out is definitely a concern.
The story about the 12-year-old's severe buck teeth and how his family could not afford to have them fixed struck a chord with Kiwi.
This is what we call a Ceph. When you go to the orthodontist, they're gonna take a panoramic x-ray that's gonna show all of your teeth lined up like this. They get to see if there's permanent teeth that haven't come in yet, like if you have an impacted canine, check out that video. So you can see right here, this is a significant overjet, right? Not overbite, we call it overjet, right? Where your top teeth are in front of your bottom teeth. When you look at this angle of the top tooth, it is a little bit forward. It is a little bit tipped forward. And sometimes the angle can affect the way that we feel about our teeth, whether they look buck or they just, they stick out. In addition to that, you can see that the lower jaw is considerably set back compared to the top jaw. So now you've got a tooth that's angled forward and a lower jaw that's back. And we really get the appearance of buck teeth. So the question is, how do you resolve something like this? Well, you can check out the other overjet video that we have. Worst case scenarios, you have a lower jaw that's just so far back, and the amount of growth that is needed to try and catch that up is very hard to get. Right? In those rare cases, something as severe as surgery is required to actually change the bone. But sometimes our overjet is not so bad that we can use growth modification with different appliances to try and push the jaw forward and hope that the growth that we will have when we go through puberty will help support that growth. So that's why it's really important. If you've got a serious overjet, you feel like your teeth stick out, you might want to go visit the orthodontist pronto to know when the right time to start that treatment to capture and try to fix this condition.
And over $100,000 was raised.
Come in, please.
Woo! How nice for this young man. $100,000 were raised to help him because his family couldn't afford the treatment. Orthodontics can be expensive, so you definitely want to make plans so that you can try to prepare, hopefully save for. Luckily, in this young man's situation, his family received support, generous support from all sorts of people. This is fantastic. Just so you know, orthodontics don't cost $100,000. If it does, I'd like to meet that orthodontist because he's doing either some seriously amazing work or maybe getting a little bit overpaid.
And orthodontist Ronald Sluter carried out the work. He shifted Evan's teeth 15 millimeters, transforming him from a boy who was bullied and called Rabbit Kid to a young man with a confident smile.
That is a huge movement, sometimes 15 millimeters, right? That's like moving the entire jaw. Sometimes that can be surgical. In this case, it doesn't look like it was because he's so young. Growth modification, sometimes by taking out teeth, sometimes with the new advent of mini screws. I haven't done a video about that, but those are little screws that can go in your bone, kind of like implants, but they come back out, and they're used to help pull teeth and push teeth into position that just normal braces can't do by themselves.
Leftover donations formed part of a trust allocated to other children.
Leftover donations, right, went to other people that can't afford to get the work but need it and benefit from it. In this case, this is one of those situations, when people ask like, is this really necessary? Medically, maybe not. But there are so many people that have this type of setup for their teeth and their bones by no fault of their own. And you know what? This, in my opinion, is truly necessary. Fixing this will definitely benefit this young man. Notice in this picture right here, we've got the canine on the top trying to come in right there. This side, you can see that the canine on top hasn't come in yet either. And on the bottom, you can kind of get the feeling that the canine is coming in front of those bottom teeth. That means that he's really crowded. So he's got a few things going on. He's young, and so he hasn't gone through puberty yet as we're trying to fix this. He's trying to fix this. So hopefully we can get some growth changes. We've got crowding on the bottom, which will also, the bottom teeth, that means as you line them up, they're gonna come forward like this. So that's gonna get rid of that space right there, or at least reduce it. That'll be helpful. And then, like I said, we're so young, so we can try to get the growth modification.
Dental work their families can't afford.
I don't know where we would have been today without the generosity. We had been looking at probably mortgaging our house to pay for.
Even
That would have been so rough. Thank goodness for good people. I believe there are good people out there and good orthodontists.
left school and is looking at a career as a train driver and has just one word to describe his new look.
So a couple things you can see, what I'll point out here is growth has happened, right? His face has matured. He's now an older young man. So now his face helps support the big teeth that he was getting, right? His adult teeth come in and it just is not quite off. And so a lot of kids go through that transition. So that's not crazy. But then as his body has grown and as they've gone through the orthodontic treatment, now he matches so much better together. I'm so happy for this young man.
An amazing transformation made possible by the goodwill of thousands of Kiwis and a Baltukia news hub.
Great transformation. That is the amazing of orthodontics, all right? I know it can be expensive and people are coming up TikTok, all sorts of like hacks on how to like do things without going to the orthodontist or, you know, direct consumer products. But for individuals out there who have teeth and jawbones that just don't fit together the right way or are really crowded, or sometimes you have conditions that are just too hard to treat, the orthodontist is the way to go. As long as you're committed and you do your part, it will be worth the effort and the time. And hopefully you can be as happy as this young man right here. A message to all you kids, right? And adults, but especially the kids. Don't be the guy or the girl that is poking fun at other people. It's not nice. Don't do it. You wouldn't want to be in that situation and it doesn't feel good. This world is hard enough that we don't need to be mean to each other. Just do some good, like that orthodontist for that young man. And all those people that donated that money to help him out. We appreciate good people like that. What a great transformation. So, hey, if you're in the McKinney, Texas area and you want to know how to fix your overjet, or if you feel like you've got buck teeth and you want to try and resolve the issue, come talk to me so that we can be a part of your transformation. Hey, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about the amazing transformation that we saw here, reacted to, feel free to leave one below. Of course, consider subscribing to the channel so that I can continue to open your eyes to the wonderful world of straight teeth and beautiful bites. That's all I've got. Just a little PFOing so you know where you're going. Packard out.